And we're recording, and we have audio, I think. Welcome back, guys. I'm Mellowseven. This is the last in our first look of Mashinky. And this is the one where we're going to talk about the things that I'm not, well, we won't say I don't like, but some things I like to add, or potentially some small bugs, something that might make you think about it before you buy it. Right now it is, I believe, for $24.99 on Steam. As far as things that might make you not buy it, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I think the dog maybe has an itch. I'm hearing the floor thud there. It's echoing throughout the whole house. Things that make you might not want to buy it. I can't save right now. So we can say test. All right, it comes up. Nothing happens. Now, it does do autosaves on once in a while, and it will give me a game saved thing up there. However, when we try to load, there's no load. Now, I don't have this installed at the default location. All my Steam games go to the D drive. That may, well, it probably is the problem. But a lot of us don't run games on our C drive. So if that is going to affect you, then you might want to think about that. So right now, for me, save games doesn't work. Let's see, what next? What would I like to change? I'd like to be able to build tunnels and bridges that turn, right? I'd like to be able to maybe come out here with a bridge and run across here like this or something like that. But right now, let's see if we can find a bridge here. You can see we can go straight across, but we can't curve, right? So we can't go diagonal. We can only go left, right, up, down. We only follow the grid perfectly. So not a huge fan of that. Tunnels works the same way. There's a lot of these. I don't have very many mountains on this map. We'd like to come down and maybe curve into a curve into a valley or something like that. Can't do that. So let me work through my list here. Something I'd like is occasionally, let's see if we can find a good spot on this map here. I don't think I have enough big enough hills for it to really matter. Here we go. Here's a mountain. Some of these types of things, like we can't run a path up this. It's too steep. And it doesn't like to run diagonal paths as well. So we can see, can't climb a diagonal path. And then it wants to flip over here. Or if we try to climb up this. So I would like, there's a couple options. One, I'd love maybe just to have a planning mode where I can lay down a track but not actually build it, where I can just plan for that build. And I can see where it's going to work and where it's not. And then I could come in here with my bulldozer and I could knock that down a little bit. And now, it would turn and say, okay, now you can do that. If you're going to build a really complicated map, like on, say, a mountain map, where you're trying to like spiral up a mountain to get to a resource or city at the top, much like they had to do. I lived near Virginia City in Nevada for a while. So occasionally these types of things need to happen, and there's no easy way to figure out how to build that, right? You just kind of have to guess, and one tile at a time, and then you delete it and you have to go back and forth, and it's pretty frustrating. It'd be nice if there was some sort of planning mode that would help us do that. Or potentially when I go to drag this across, I could have an option that says auto landscape, and it's automatically going to make whatever minimum changes need to happen to get that track to lay down. So in this case, it would knock that one mountain down a notch and be good. If I had a curve there, then it would make that flat and make the curve somewhere else. That could be pretty destructive of your environment, but maybe an option you could turn back on. I think the best option would be a planning, where I can lay down a plan and it's actually going to show me if something's up or not. YouTube's giving me pop-ups on my screen. I think that would be pretty cool. On kind of that route, I would like to be able to teletrain to do some specific pathing, other than just go here, then go here, then go here. I can do that now, but I can't choose which route it does other than to make each individual path one way, right? To force it to go. Now, for instance, right here, I have this station on the inside, everybody cuts through. I would prefer they go outside every time. That way, those trains that are actually going to this station never have to stop here and wait for a train that's just driving through, right? Now, you know, it's just because this is the shortest route, right? Because I needed to be as close to the city as possible. Are there ways around that? Probably. But it's just annoying. It's not a big thing. It's actually a pretty small thing. But it'd be nice if I could say, you know, this is the main path. You know, if I could designate something, maybe this is only if you need to go there, right? You know, through traffic and not through traffic, right? So this one is not for through traffic. It's only for people who are going here. That would be great to do. I'm sure this is coming, but at the moment I can't name anything. I can't name my trains. I can't name my stations. I can't name my sawmills. Now this sawmill here, it says sawmill near Brighton, but let's take a look real fast at one of these trains. This train right here, let's take a look at its orders. I only have a number, station 9, station 15. I can't say, okay, that's the Brighton one. Now, it's not a big deal here, but maybe on some of these passenger trains, for instance, where they have a lot more, I can see what types of things they have here, but I don't have a name. It'd be nice to be able to say, look, that's Brighton. That's my Brighton station, right? If I can name them myself, that would be ideal. Same thing with trains, right? You know, we all know the trains are named, right? We've got this, you know, Sunset Flyer or whatever, right? It'd be cool if we could do that. So I would love to be able to either name things or instead of just a number for this station to be Brighton Station. If I happen to have 2 in some places, and I do, see if I remember where they are. Let's go the depot number 2. Oh, I was close. For instance, I guess this isn't one, but this is one where I would love to have 2, right? I don't. I have one up here that hits the post office, but it misses most of the houses. So I could have Kirkcaldy 1 and Kirkcaldy 2 or something along those lines. I know I have at least one on this map that has 2 stations for it, but I would really like to be able to do that. Some sort of naming. Now, something that's a little bit different is about the block signals. First, let's talk about some basic ways of doing things, first of all. Okay, let's come over. I'm going to go back to this mode because it's easy for me to see. This is probably where most of us are going to start building. This is the easiest type of thing. I've got one path for each train. It goes from one station to one station. There's only one train on here. I don't need block signals at all. In this case, I've used them here because I wanted to just use one depot, mostly because I wanted to upgrade this depot, and that upgrade is not the cheapest. It's already done there, so I can't show you how expensive it is, but it's not cheap when you're starting. So I want to do more. But if I were to just put one depot on each of these, I wouldn't need this at all. So this train's going to go back and forth. There's one train. It doesn't need signals. It can only bounce back and forth. So initially, when you're first starting, this is probably the cheapest way to go and the easiest way to go. And then if we go back to depot number 2 here, if I just click that, will it take me there? Why, yes, it will. You can see here, here's maybe the next step. This is a one-way track. So we've got a big circle. Everything goes around it. Some of these are going to be pull-through stations, right? We can drive all the way through. We have an in and an out. Some of these are going to be a pull-in, pull-out, something like this. It doesn't go all the way through. We pull in, we pull out. Now, depending on what your settings are, you may not have this option. This is an option in the difficulty tab right now, game settings right now, whether you can, where trains can turn around and reverse. Now, though, all of a sudden I start to need signals, right? If I'm going to have more than one train on this track, if I have a train here, I don't want another train to run into them. But more importantly, if I don't have them, only one train will run. The others will all stay in the depot. Okay, because all of this was one track. So if we come here and let's real quick, we'll just draw a circle of some sort here. So right now, this by itself is one block. Okay? So only one train is allowed in each block at a time. So if I were to have two trains on here, or if I were to have one train on here already, and I would hook up my depot, we'll hook up a depot right here. And we'll create a train. We'll just, here we go. I don't even know if he's going to drive around a circle. Let's find out. So this is right now one block. There's no other trains allowed here. So if we go back and we want to create another train here, and we build one, and we tell him to start, he's just going to sit there because he can't come out. One train per block. So what we're going to do really fast is, anyway, we're going to separate our depot from this. Maybe we won't. I didn't leave us enough space there. I'd have to do two. Now see, that train went in there. Now look, now 35 can come out. Because now there's no other trains. And he decided to go this way instead of that way. So now what we can do is, let's say we want to break this up a little bit. We put a signal right here. Now, because this is a circle, that doesn't help us. This is still only one block, right? All of this is still connected. It's not broken up. We have here, you need a minimum of 2 to break it up. Now, in my case, if I put one right here, I'm still not broken up because we connect on here. Right, so let me come through here. We're going to put that there. Now, I have 2 blocks. Well, 3 blocks. This is one section, this is one section, and this is one section. And you can see they're going to drive around it opposite directions because we haven't told it which direction we want it to go. All of this does is break it up at its most basic. So let's say we want to make this go one direction. Let's say we'll go counterclockwise. So we're going to come in here and we can change where these go. And we can click. Now, first of all, I'd like an easier way to do this. When you zoom in like this, it's not too bad. But if you're zoomed out trying to mess with this, it's impossible. And then you end up clicking down 3 more things instead of just doing that. And then you have to delete them. And then you lose money and time. And it's frustrating. I'd like an easier way to do this. But for now, that's it. So we need to make sure that they all point the same direction or we're going to have problems. So we're going to come in here. Whoops, see? Just like that. I accidentally made an extra one. And it's a little bit delayed, which is worse. You think you're clicking one place, but by the time it actually accepts the click, it's drifted. So let's try there. No, that's not going to work. There, okay. Now this will be our in for over here. Is it that one? Okay. Now we're going to come over here. And we're going this way. Of course, we can't see them very well because there's trains on them. So this train right here, we're going to, because we have our difficulty level such that when a train is stopped or at one of these things or at the end of the line or in a station, we can reverse it. So we're just going to reverse it. We'll start him back up again. We'll hit go. Now, speed it up a little bit faster. Now this guy can't go until this guy goes out of here. In fact, let's look. Right now, he's got a stop sign here. It's red. You can't go. You can't go through this one because there's somebody here. The only place this guy can go is here. This guy can't go anywhere right now. So we'll go ahead and let this play through real quick here. Hopefully, he'll go in there. He doesn't. He stops. Now we're stuck. Nobody can go anywhere. So, at its basic, that's a block signal. And how the blocks are built up. And these are the things as you're building this and you want to put more and more trains on each spot such that you end up with something like, if I can find it again, something like this, right, where we see I've got lots and lots of trains and they're all running. I've got to have paths. Now, I've done this by making everything one way, making sure there's always exits, making sure there's places to go. Occasionally, I've had to build parking spots into places. And in fact, I missed a signal here. So one train can park here while it waits for another train to load without backing up into traffic. Right, everything. In this case, this is a pull in, pull out. These are actual pull through. And I've got a big combination here. I'm doing clover leaves to get around things. all of this is train 34 is useless. Yes, train 35 is useless. We understand that. Train 5 has been stopped at a signal. Okay, he's fixed. We don't care about that. We don't care about that. We don't care about that. Okay. So when you want to start doing more complicated things, it gets really difficult. And you can see as I come in here, I've got a lot of these block signals to break things up. Lots and lots and lots of them. Because if I want to let more than one train run, say, down this straightaway at one time, I have to break the straightaway up into stops, not only just these turns and these curves. So right now this uses what is called a block switch. Right? So it's just an on or it's an off. Now let's see if we wanted... This guy got bored, so he's reversed, but now he's stuck there. And now he's bored again. So for now, we're just going to let those guys go for now. Let's stop them so they... Oh, here, we'll return them to the depot. That's what we'll do. On, and then how about you? Return to depot. There we go. So he'll go through. This light will turn green. He'll be able to go through. They'll be in there. Okay. So let's look at what we'd want to do now. I'm trying to think of a good example of what to use for something called a chain switch. And a chain switch isn't just a single, is there something in the way? Yes, no. It actually can look ahead to something else. So if we were to build, let's build a station here really fast. We'll just build it right here. Here's our station. We've got one station. It's an in and an out station. Let's see, how do we want to do that? No, we want more than one bit here. So it's a big station. We've got a couple different places here, right? So, but we've got maybe only... Let's see, that goes out. Should have had this built ahead of time. I'm sorry. Is that how? Okay. So these 3 tracks, they come in. I'm going to change this. We'll say we can drive through here, right? However that may be. There we go. Oops, that's not what I want. This is what I want. You'd think when you already have something built and done, the delete would follow what you're deleting to. That's a little annoying as well, but that's a pretty small... Too small to even have made my list here. Okay. So, we've got trains that are coming along. And we come in here. So if we're here, we could go to here or we could go to here. Okay. I could, for whatever reason, and I have trains that could go to here and I could go to here. So what if there's a train here and there's a train here? That's going to make this red and this green. But there's not a train in here. So this guy, he's going to come up. This is going to be his first green light. He's going to pull through here and then he can't go anywhere. He can't because his 2 options are here, and they're both red. So now he just sits here. That makes this entire block red. I can't come in through this one. I can't come in through this one. There's an empty spot here. If I had known about it, he could have come up this way and gone up that way or gone all the way up. But all of these were green because this middle space was empty. But then he got here, he got to a spot where he couldn't go anywhere. A chain signal would keep this red. if the next one's not green, this one stays red. So he'd say, okay, I need to run up to one of these, and that would give him access to this top one. That is how a chain signal would work. This is actually chained to these two, and if they don't give a go, then this one doesn't give a go. It's not as simple as just looking at a block. This is building specifically off of this and this space rather than this space alone. Okay? So it'll say, is my space clear? Yes. Is the space for the two I'm chained to clear? Yes. If so, come on through. If, on the other hand, I have these blocked, it will say, nope, those are both red, so I'm going to stay red. Essentially, more than one condition has to be true for the whole thing to be true. Right now, a block is only capable at looking at one thing. It's either a true or a false, a go or a no-go, and that's it. It can't look ahead to the next bit. And that means I can't use a more complicated system like this. I would have to just do each of these as a single deal. Now, that's not the end of the world, and in this case you could say, well, Eric, wouldn't it be easier just to tie each of those? And in this specific situation it would be. I'm just trying to build a quick deal. But as you get to build more and more complicated deals, you'll want more and more of that. And some of them aren't always going to be a close-up thing. Some of them will be longer term. So that allows you to do things like not rely on one-ways. And to do much more complicated loading and unloading situations. So it'd be great to have chain signals. I'm not an expert at train games, so you're better off looking at somebody who does more of these for maybe a better explanation of it. But that's a simple, easy way to look at it. So that's my deal there. So in this case, I've gone ahead and I built a bunch of. This is just a super basic deal, 1-to-1. Aside from the fact that we tied some depots together. This is about what you're going to start with. I think that's a lot of fun. And then, whoops, depot. Then this is kind of the next more complicated type of deal. We've got a loop. Pretty simple loop though. Things hang off of it. We got a mix of pull through and pull in out and pull out. And then of course we've got our big giant deal here. And this all works off of one depot. There's one depot on this end, and it feeds every single train on this situation. This is something else that could be in your difficulty. You can say, I have to use one depot. And if that's the case, this train needs to be able to get from here to here, no matter what else is going on in the middle. Which is great, actually. It's a lot of fun that way. I just realized my mic was spun out of the way, so hopefully I'm not too quiet. But anyway, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's do a quick ride through. I think this is my biggest train. Let's do a quick little look here. We'll speed up to the top. We'll run this down here. And we'll follow this guy through some fairly complicated clover leaves and such. All the bridges I have built are stone bridges. I haven't had problems with wooden bridges myself, but I did notice that there was a bug for that. And so we can see here, whoops, there was somebody there, so it was red. Let me flip here so we can see the lights as we drive through. So it's red because he was here. He moves through. I'm able to move through. All of this will turn green, and we can keep people going through. He's going to run into this one. Notice you can't go in here because it's red, but I can drive back out. It's green. I dump my people off. I come back out. It's red because that guy went through here. He's about to run through. Everything stays green. We drive into this one. He is actually one of the few that actually needs that station. Now we're going to roll through here. And we can go ahead and check our orders really fast. So we know we're going to station number 5 next, which I believe is this one. So we come back in here. We hit station number 5, dump our people off, pick up more people. You can see we've got 968 people, 200 mail, and 1 coal waiting to go out. And now we're going all the way back to station 1, which is London, I think. So we're going to run through this little industrial section, dive through some tunnels. You can use tunnels or ramps. At least it was red because he was running through there. Tunnels, at least at the beginning, are 100 mile an hour, whereas Bridges are much slower. I think these are 80 and the wooden ones are 50 miles an hour. Do the clover leaf to get going back the direction we want to go. So early on, you're better off doing this with tunnels than you are doing it with bridges, at least to maintain the speeds. If it's shorter tracks and they're not actually getting up to speed, it doesn't matter if there's big hills or something. It's not as big a deal. You know, he had to slow way down because there was other traffic there and he had to stop at one point. So, you know, you can see he's only going 62 miles an hour of the 100 here. So I would say when you get playing, don't get too caught up on top speed because you don't actually hit it all that often. So yeah, we're going to come in here to London, dump everything off, make our money, and go on. And I think that's probably enough for this video here. Let's go ahead. Maybe we'll hop in the driver's seat here. There we go. And here we're doing okay. We're running 77 up and over the bridge. There are also iron bridges. I didn't have iron or in any sort of real numbers. And you can see here 366 versus 2400. And so I didn't bother making suspension bridges. Although I guess we can do that real fast. This is kind of the end of our... Let's back up here. We've got a bridge right there. Let's go ahead since we're here. We'll go into planning mode. We'll bulldoze bulldoze the wrong thing. I would love an undo. Undo would be amazing, Jan, if you're watching this one. That is the ultimate right now, an undo. So we can see we do that. We've got a couple options. We'll make a suspension bridge. We'll hit OK. We'll do another one here. There we go. OK. Let's hop back in our train. Up and over our new suspension bridge. There we go. Clearly there was traffic somewhere up here through one of the clover leaves. Oh, now we got to go over the bridge we just went under. Look at that. What was that for planning? Pure luck. Under our stone bridges. Oh, let's go. Oh, look how... We'll get that low always. No, without... Oh, zooming in. There we go. There we go, walking along on the ground level. See if we can get hit by a train. There we are. It'd be nice to be able to walk around too, just a straight walking mode. You know, kind of like they added to some of the, I think City Skylines added it. Probably some SimCities with it, but where I could just be a person. It just drops me on the ground essentially, and instead of a bunch of big crazy camera views, I just walk around. That'd be pretty cool. That's pure wish list though. Always sit here and just kind of enjoy the train porn here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be doing some more videos for this. Maybe we'll start talking about different techniques to build stuff, that sort of stuff. Right now it's very early alpha. There's not a huge amount to the game. Despite that, I've got about 40 hours into it already in the 3 days or so that it's been out, 4 days that I've had it. So at some point I have to start doing real things. But even as basic as this game is, despite my few complaints, clearly it was worth my time and my money, and I think it's probably worth yours. The only real killer for me is the not being able to save my games right now. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Definitely recommend this one, and I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.